What's up, y'all? This is Sunny. I'm back with another video. Hope y'all are having a great day. This is going to be a quick one. I'm going to talk to you guys about something that I wish I would have heard a lot sooner in my career as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. That real talk. I heard it. One of my best friends in that organization told me something that really helped me, and I just wish I would have heard it earlier. And I'm going to share that with you guys. Maybe it can provide some help for you in your journey. And especially if you're an active Jehovah's Witness, that I want you to hear this. But just briefly, I'm going to tell you guys that I am on lockdown right now. If you don't know, if you haven't had COVID, you don't know, how it actually makes you feel. I was double vaxxed, and I'm telling you, I caught it last weekend, and it is bad. It is bad. I'm telling you, I feel like if I wasn't double vaxxed, I would have definitely been in the ER. That's what I feel like. I felt like I was gonna die. You hear about COVID, you hear about how bad it is, but I've never heard anybody really talk about how bad the pain is. They talk about body aches. I had pain in my legs that was just indescribable. There was dizziness, there was headaches, bad coughing. It was just horrible. So I'm telling you guys, if you don't have any sort of contraindications for getting that vaccine, you might want to do that. Because when you catch COVID, and I suppose we all are going to eventually, it's no joke. I'm on quarantine right now. That's kind of like why I'm making this video. Just been sitting in the house for this past week and just been thinking. So as far as this clip, just really briefly, something I wanted to tell you guys. I wish somebody would have told me a lot sooner that it's okay to tell those Jehovah's Witnesses elders to fuck off, right? Maybe not in those exact words, but it's okay to just be straight with those guys. If they're saying something to you, and I'm assuming that you're somebody who's physically in and mentally out. If you're a Jehovah's Witness watching this video, probably you're PMO. And I just want you to know that it's okay for you to tell those elders to fuck off. Maybe you're not going to say those exact words, but they only have the control. They only have that control over your life if you give it to them, right? They don't have any right to know anything about you. You do not have to give them any information about what's going on in your life, what you're doing. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. If you want to quote unquote live a double life, if you want to live your life however you want to live it and present, what they want to see when you go to those kingdom halls, that's your right. But if they want to come to you and ask you questions about stuff, you can tell them to fucking piss off. And I just so desperately wish somebody would have told me that earlier. My friend Patrick, I'm going to go ahead and use his name because I hope that he sees this video when he contacts me. He's somebody, as far as I know, he's still in the organization. Patrick is one of the best friends I've ever had in this world for as long as I've been alive. I love that guy. He's my brother. I miss him desperately. He told me something when we were both Jehovah's Witnesses, and it really affected me. He told me something about something that was going on between him and one of his friends, somebody that I didn't know. We know that these elders, they like to interrogate, especially young people. They want to have every bit of control over your life that they can possibly have. Again, especially if you're a young person. They want to know what you're doing, and they want to control what you're doing. When we were kids, when we were younger, in our early 20s, teens, 20s, and even 30s, video games were a big thing. They still are, really. But my friend Patrick told me that, again, when we were coming up, that they would have Halo parties, right? Where all the kids would get together and they would play Halo. And they'd have LAN parties and I would go to these LAN parties sometimes where, you could bring your TV over to your friend's house and you'd have a bunch of friends get together, and you could have 4 friends on one screen, and you'd have a LAN party. You'd have 16 people in the living room, and you'd all be playing Halo, and you'd just be having a blast, right? But Patrick told me about one of his friends, the elders in his congregation, they didn't like that, right? And so one of the elders he got in contact with my friend Patrick's friends, and he interrogated him, and he wanted to know who was at that party, who was at the LAN party, because you know how crazy these Jehovah's Witness elders are about things like video games, right? So as the story went, this elder sat that kid down, put a piece of paper in front of him, and told him to write down everybody's name that was at that LAN party, that was at that party playing Halo, right? And the kid refused to do it. He wouldn't do it. Because why should he? Playing video games is not a sin, right? Patrick told me that, and that really affected me. This elder demanded him to do something, right? And he didn't do it. He felt like there's no reason for him to do it, right? And he didn't do it. There's nothing morally wrong with playing video games, even though this elder felt like that was something that he wanted to know, right? He felt like he had that power over that kid to demand to know who was at that LAN party playing Halo, and the kid refused to tell him. Now, I remember that was something that I remembered when I was in one of my elders meetings. I talked about this in one of my previous videos, right? I had went out to a club. This is not what we were talking about in the elders meeting. I had kind of gotten in trouble, and I was talking about what I happened to do with some woman that I was dealing with, and it sort of came up that I was at this party. Actually, it wasn't a party. We were out at the club, and the elders wanted to know who I was at the club with. And when they asked me about that, I refused to tell them. And I thought back to what my friend Patrick had said about what his friend had said to his elders. That kid refused to tell the elders who he was with that night. No matter how much the interrogation was going, that kid refused to tell them. And when I was in that elders meeting with those elders, they wanted to know who I was with at the club. When I was in that elders meeting, I refused to tell them, right? That's something that I'm very proud about. I did not give up my friends because I felt like we weren't doing anything wrong. And I felt like the elders had no right to know who I was out with that night, because they didn't. Those elders, they're just men, right? They don't have any right to know anything about what's going on in your personal life. And I urge you not to tell them. Don't give them that power, right? You have the power. If you want to live, if you want to continue to be in that organization for whatever reason, because you don't want to lose your family members, and you want to actually go out and live your life however you want to live your life, you want to live physically and mentally out, that's your business, right? You do not have to tell those elders anything that you don't want to tell them. I wish somebody would have told me that so much earlier in my career as a Jehovah's Witness, but they told me eventually. That's something that I learned, and I wanted to pass that on to you guys. You have the power. You're physically in, mentally out of that organization. You have that power. These elders, they're standing up there. You know what it is. You know the truth about the truth. So that's something that I just wanted to tell you guys. I wanted to make this really quick. It's been such a weird freaking 2022. As I said before, I'm on lockdown. Things are pretty crazy right now. I'm hoping that I can go back to work this week. Probably I will be able to. That's the plan. My symptoms are pretty much gone away. My plan is to go into work, and hopefully I'll be kind of more active with my activism this year. I do have another video. I actually have a couple of videos that have been kicking around in my head. It seems like the videos that get the most traction that I post is when I talk about sex and morals and the Jehovah's Witnesses and my experience, with the things that I've gone through as far as sex and morals. And I've got one kicking around in my brain that I want to put out. What I'm planning to do with that video is speak about some of the actual propaganda that the Jehovah's Witnesses have put out about sex and morals. And then I'm thinking about reading certain passages from their propaganda, and in between reading those passages, talking about my own experience and things that I've seen and experienced in that organization. I think it'll be a pretty interesting video. If you guys want to hear that, go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section. And I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. You guys have a great morning, a great 2022. Talk to you in the next one.